What's up, everybody? Welcome in. It's such a pleasure to join you for this new adventure here, right here on Racing America, the first episode of our new show, Game On Racing Edition. I'm Alan Cavana alongside Camille Salazar-Hadaway. This is a new venture, Camille. Glad to be here with you.
A new adventure with a great partner. We are partnering with Ultimate Endgamers League, which is a competitive esports and gaming franchise that is really changing how esports and competitive gaming looks. So we're excited to talk about more who they are and also how racing in the gaming community comes together. So it's going to be exciting as we get into it.
Yeah, and this is your community. I want to learn all about it as much as I can. You're big into this. What got you into gaming? What games do you like playing?
Well, what got me into gaming has to be trying to figure out what errands to do in the house. My family, we would always, throw it down in Street Fighter and then divvy up all the errands in order to, get all the house chores done. But right now I'm playing a lot of Call of Duty, and yes, it gets competitive. So I'm all into esports in that world as well. But Alan, I see behind you, you have quite a few consoles behind you. So I know you're a gamer as well. So I got to know what games you love to play.
Yeah, I'm a little more old school. Look, I like throwing touchdowns with my boy Josh Allen. I like winning races in NASCAR. I like taking out Bond villains, old school, GoldenEye, stuff like that. But I got to tell you, Camille, my game of choice, I am the best Mario Kart 64 player in the world. I'm throwing that challenge out there right now to you, to everybody. Let's do it.
Okay, I accept that challenge because I'm pretty good at Yoshi. No one could touch me in Yoshi. So I'm going to get a blue shell and come at you. We're going to have to figure out how to settle that challenge.
One day, I can't wait. Look, we got a great show coming up. Before we tell you more about the UEL, what it's all about, and especially how you can get involved, let's tell you who's coming up on this show, because we have Raja Karut. He is a driver in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He started his racing career in the eNASCAR Ignite Series and parlayed that into an IRL, in real life career. Now he is a NASCAR winner, Camille. He's going to join us on the show and tell us about that journey.
And alongside him, we have Titus Walker, who's the founder and creator of the Ultimate Endgamers League. He's going to be talking about who they are, as well as what their upcoming season looks like. So I'm excited for that as well.
Yeah, so let's talk about a little bit more about what the Ultimate Endgamers League is. It is one of the premier leagues in all of esports, mostly because, Camille, you know this stuff. A lot of leagues focus on just one game, the skill, the strategy around just one game. The UEL can have up to 33 games per match. We're talking teams up to 10 players that all have to be so well-rounded in every aspect of gaming. We're talking the racing games, sports games, strategy, first-person shooters, all those games, the fighting ones. You have to be so well-rounded, and that's what makes it such a fun league, because you have to know all these games and be so good at them as a team, and that's what gets you success in this league.
Yeah, and that's what it really is about, like changing the scene of esports, changing what you think of the competition. And, once you're well-rounded, that's only half the battle. It's also that communication with your team. So you may be thinking, okay, I'm a well-rounded gamer. How can I get involved in the UEL? Well, check this out.
But he knows his combos for this, so.
That safe jump was nasty.
Oh my God.
By the way, it's really Hollywood.
Camille, that wheel, it's like a wheel of anxiety. You got to be good at all those games. You don't know which one's going to come up. That part had me hyped.
I mean, the anxiety part, maybe not so much, but yeah, the fierce competition, I'm really excited to take that all in. But Alan, where can everyone join?
That's the best part. You can sign up for this. Just make sure you sign up now. uelesports.com/sign up. The new season starting soon. You can be a part of it. That's the best part of all of this. When we come back, the founder and creator of the UEL, Titus Walker, will join us. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome back to Game On Racing Edition. I'm Camille Salzer. How do I join me is Alan Cavana. Alan, on our show, we like to bring racing and gaming together, but how does that really work in the real world?
Oh, more and more. That's what's really cool. Look, back in the pandemic, NASCAR cut its teams back to just 25 minutes of practice each week, Camille. Imagine that, trying to be the best in the world at something, and you only get 25 minutes of practice to do it. In comes sim racing, in comes VR, in comes iRacing, and everything that esports can help bring. That is what's helping NASCAR teams win on Sundays. So much so that you just get familiarity with the track. You get practice time that you can't get in real life. You get that in VR now. You get that on the sim, and all of that data that they can no longer get in the real world, they're getting it from the sim, and they're applying it to Sundays, and they're winning races with it. That's where more and more teams need this stuff, and it's really cool to see how that relationship is working.
Yeah, and it's a great way for up-and-coming talent that first gets into the sim to go into real-world racing as well. So you can't underestimate gaming, and someone who doesn't underestimate gaming is Titus Walker, the founder and creator of Endgamers League, the Ultimate Endgamers League. Welcome, Titus. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
now,
it looks
Titus,
like you're.
Where are you?
Looks like you're in the classroom. Yeah, what is that? That's awesome.
Yeah, we're actually doing a camp Endgamer now, and teaching kids about production and starting out with them learning about branding and logo designs. And by the end of the camp, they'll be putting on their own full-scale esports production competition against each other.
That's really cool.
That's awesome.
That's exciting to see. I feel like we're going to have maybe a showcase of some of their shows. We'll have to see how it works out, but we would love to see that. Now, Titus, earlier in the show, we got to see the season 10 trailer, and it got us really hyped up. Also, Alan was a little anxious because of the competition, looked intense. But how was the UEL born? And really, what is the UEL's goal in esports?
Season 10 trailer is insane. Big shout out to Lewis for that. He puts together a great video. But UEL was born almost 6 years ago, and it was created from the idea that gaming is the sport rather than any particular game. And so we created like the UFC of gaming, where the focus was on the end gamer, which is the master of all gaming. And so the UEL actually stands for Ultimate Endgamers League. And so what we did is combine all different genres of games, fighting games, sports, shooting, racing, and strategy games, and create this ultimate format where you're going to compete and figure out who's the best well-rounded gamer. And we've been doing that, like I said, for about 6 years. We're in our 10th season. And the competition is intense. It really is for the 99% of gamers. And so everybody has a chance in this league, and that's what makes it so exciting.
I love the look of it. I love the hype and everything, the vibe that it gives off. It goes beyond gaming, it feels like. What are the benefits of joining UEL?
Yeah, it does. It goes way beyond gaming. At the end of the day, each game teaches you different digital skills. Fighting games are much more about like pattern recognition and spatial awareness and memorization, whereas shooting games are a lot more hand-eye coordination. And like you said, sim racing is precision and spatial awareness and timing, and map recognition. Those types of things are extremely important. And in a digital environment, you can learn them and then apply them to the real world. And so when you take all of those different talents that are learned across all of gaming and then apply them to life, you can actually grow in skills just by playing video games, not having to do quote unquote educational games, although those do exist, but learning those important skills within the games themselves. And so our gamers excel, as well as our campers during Camp Endgamer. They're excelling in different skills that they aren't naturally a fit for them.
Now, one thing I've learned hosting different esports events is every community is a little different, and you briefly mentioned it as well. You know, League of Legends community may be different. You may have FPS communities different. Fighting game community also very, very different. Now, because UEL is taking a different approach, how would you describe the UEL community?
Man, it is true diversity, because the fighting game community will teach the strategy game community how to play the games in order to help them become the most well-rounded gamers as well. And so the league really not only appreciates diversity, but it really showcases it in a way where they end up loving each other. Whereas normally you wouldn't see those two communities mixing. When you really need somebody, you can appreciate the diversity a little bit different. And so as a team, you're trying to become the best of the best across all different games. And so you really need someone that has those skills that maybe you don't have, and can teach you the different skills in gaming.
This is awesome stuff. I can't wait to hear more. We're going to throw to break, Titus, but more after this, especially the upcoming season. We want to hear more about the UEL. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to Game On Racing Edition. Alan Cavana, Camille Salazar-Hadaway, back here with the founder of the Ultimate Endgamers League, Titus Walker. Titus, we were just talking before. We learned about the origins of the league, the community itself. But when I see those videos and I see how good everybody looks and skilled they seem, do you have to be a professional gamer to join the UEL?
No, I mean, you've got to be good, and you've got to be talented for sure. But really, it comes from attitude and your ability to adapt. I think at the end of the day, the best gamers in our league are the ones that can truly adapt and practice. I think everyone has an opportunity to be professional in gaming, because gaming doesn't really have a size requirement or an age requirement or anything like that. You can be a great gamer at any age, at any size, at any color. None of that matters. And so at the end of the day, everybody can get in if they have the right attitude, the right work ethic, and the ability to adapt.
Now, like we mentioned before, that hype season 10 trailer really got us going. But what are you most looking forward to as season 10 is on the horizon, and how can people join?
Yeah, I mean, I'm most looking forward to seeing, we had a 4-time champion in the Reapers for season 9. They just finished in Houston and won that last championship. But then the Reapers have kind of broken apart in the off season in a way. So one of their top players, Cutters, is gone. Hollywood, which is the second best player in the league, is gone. And so now the Cat is having to kind of rebuild that team. And so it'll be really interesting to see how that pans out. We're also moving our headquarters to Atlanta. And so there's like big moves on the horizon for us. And so I'm just excited to see it all play out, see if the Cat can get his 5th championship, which he's been saying he's going to, but the last team that said that they were going to do that didn't pan out well for him. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens this time too. But there's a lot of teams at his heels. I think the Blaze now having Hollywood and Cutters is huge. That's the number 2 and number 3 player in the league. Some would argue number 1 player in the league over Cat. It just depends on the day, I guess, in the game. So I'm just excited to see it all play out again. Every season, I'm a fan of the league. And I know that it may sound like it should be normal, but I think most esports leagues owners don't watch the actual games. I'm watching every game. I'm watching every trade. I'm getting excited when things happen. I'm just a fan. And so I do think it's very entertaining stuff, and I'm very excited to see it.
Titus, man, I love learning more about the community, the vibe you're bringing to esports and everything, but I gotta ask, how are you at Mario Kart 64? I threw the challenge out earlier. I'm willing to take anybody on.
I'm good at everything. So yeah, I'll definitely play you in Mario Kart 64. I'll play you in anything you want. Whatever you want to do, we can do it. It's literally why I created the league. I mean, I love gaming, and so yeah, I'll take any challenge.
That's awesome. Hey, thank you for coming on. We'll have you on throughout the next season. We're looking forward, of course, to season 10. But UEL founder Titus Walker, thank you so much.
Thanks, Titus.
All right, bye, guys.
Yeah. Great to hear from him. And coming up next, NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series driver Raja Karut joins the show. Stay with us. Welcome back, everybody. It's our first episode of our new show, Game On Racing Edition. This is the show that brings together gaming and esports with racing. If you like those things, man, this is the show for you. I'm Alan Cavana, joined by Camille Salazar-Hadaway. Camille, before we get to our second guest, let's talk about the technology that comes with esports and gaming and racing as well, and how that all mixes together. What do you think of those two things?
Well, earlier in the show, we mentioned how practice time is, in the simulation, drivers are able to get that extra practice time to prepare for real world races, but it's also the feedback that the simulator takes from the driver. There's driver feedback that then the driver's engineers could look at, fix any issues that they see, and then help them prepare to make any tweaks for race time. So there's a lot of back and forth there. That we really like that drivers are getting from the simulation.
Absolutely. It's that data that's so important. When you don't have practice, you need to get the data. And it's the people giving you that data that's so important. The talent, the drivers behind the wheel. And that's what NASCAR teams are really focusing on now, finding the talent that can get them the best data. I can tell you from the eNASCAR Cup Series, there are a lot of Cup Series teams, the Sunday teams, that are trying to find drivers in that series to help them gain that data on the other side. Someone who knows a little something about that, both the sim world and the in real life world. Our next guest, NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series driver Raja Karut, joins the show. Raja, thank you so much for joining us. How you doing?
I'm good, Alan. Good to see you guys. Good to see you, Camille.
Good to see you as well.
It's great to have you on here. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey? Because some people may know you as the Craftsman Truck Series two-time winner now and doing great things on Fridays and Saturdays, but it started with gaming, right? I mean, can you tell us about that journey?
Yeah, for me, I grew up as a diehard race fan, and when I was younger, I mean, I played NASCAR 15, NASCAR Inside Line, NASCAR 14, and all those real PlayStation games. And for me, growing up in the city, racing was a very almost unattainable dream. So I had to go on sim race. And I got on iRacing in 2019 with the eNASCAR Ignite series. And that kind of really started my journey of racing legend cars online, the truck cars, cup cars, obviously, and did well enough to make the NASCAR Driver Diversity program. And the rest is history so far.
Well, yeah, that's amazing. With the sim, you're just able to, like you said, if you can't get that experience anywhere, just simple as a desk mount rig in order to set that up. But I'm wondering, when did you actually transition? Yes, you mentioned the drive for diversity, but how was that transition from simulation to real world racing for you?
Yeah, so I really sim raced for 1 year before starting to drive in real life, and that was a really hard transition. Just to understand, you get your information through your hands and your eyes and your ears when you're racing on a sim, but in real life, you have those senses, and then you're also paying attention to what you're feeling in your body, your butt, your hips, your arms, and visually what you see. Your sight's way different in an actual cockpit compared to what you have on a sim. So just all the things of just adjusting from virtual to reality is the transition. But it took a while, and thankfully I've had some great coaches, some great mentors along the way that have helped me kind of learn the process, and been with some great teams and as well.
Raja, one of the best things about seeing you at the track is we always see your dad. You're so supported in all this. And you would think, usually when you're young, families, parents would be like, stay away from the games, stay away from computers. What was their encouragement like? How did they play into all this and keep you, in the sim world and start this journey?
Yeah, for sure. I think I've been fortunate to have a great village. I mean, we did a fundraiser to get my first like real sim racing computer and steering wheel and pedals and all that. So that just really attests to the village I've had around me with friends, family, like you mentioned, my dad, my mom, my sister, and so on and so forth. So definitely super fortunate to have had that support from everybody, and it takes a village to uplift somebody for sure.
Now, uplifting, you've been doing really well, uplifting your career. You got your second career win in Nashville. How was that moment for you? And what do you think of your season so far?
Yeah, definitely. It was great to get the dub in Nashville. And overall, this year's been a little up and down, but definitely just trying to smooth it out before we get into the playoffs. But like you said, it was great to get the win in Nashville a couple weeks ago, and hope to have a solid run this coming weekend in Lime Rock.
Welcome back, everybody. What an awesome first episode this has been. Game On Racing Edition. Camille, I've learned so much today. Look, I come from the racing world, but to hear from Titus Walker, the founder of the UEL, and hear everything that he's bringing to the gaming world and his league and the passion, it goes so much further than just a gaming console and a controller. There's a community there. That was so cool to learn.
Yeah, there's a huge community. Well, coming from the gaming world and listening to Raja and his success story, learning that only 1 year in simulation racing before he went into real world racing is just insane to hear that success story. But, when you're talking to other, kids that start off in the sim and they're hearing that success story, they're driven by that. And that's really cool to see as well. Raja also talked about his family support. If you've been lucky enough to go to a simulation event like the NASCAR finals, you also see those kids, they're supported by their family. And that goes on when they, continue to real world racing. So I love to see all that success, and I love to learn more about the race side of things.
Yeah, we got plenty more to tell you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Racing America. You can catch Game On Racing Edition every other week, same time, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. For myself, Camille Salazar-Hadaway, we'll see you next time.